Last day of corn harvest. Fingers crossed. But we are down to the final 10 acres over here on this farm on shares, and should be wrapping her up here pretty soon, hopefully in the next couple hours. We got done with corn harvest. Now John's over there switching the combine to beans. I was just driving the grain cart up the driveway and I get a phone call. It says, too many failed milkings in a row, Robot 101. So anyways, I guess that's good timing. Just haven't gotten up here, so we'll come in here and take a look at what's going on. Hopefully it's nothing too bad. So, robot is paused. Yep. She's all tangled up. That didn't want to retract back in there, so I will come over here. Yeah. All right. Actions. Move arm to service position. I'll move that over here. Yeah, let's, okay. Now, cord cups are loose. I'll hit fixed. This again. So I just went and got a flashlight, but so you see that little bolt back there where my pinky is showing? The tubes were underneath that. So it can retract, but now it feels like it should be able to retract back in here just fine. So anyway, so now we hit fixed. There you go. Perfect. Put her back in the home position. I'll go back to the home position. I'll wash it off and then I'll hit play. So came in here to my reports to see what it looked like, and sure enough, connection attempts left rear on 101. But what you look at is who was the previous cow that came in there. 1348. This is the cow I talked about in a previous video that she has 3 or 4 robot calls to her name. Well, here's another one, because this cow, she gets restless, and you can see she got milked out 17 pounds of milk. And she probably visited earlier this morning, so I mean that's fair, decent. And she's a heifer and whatever, but that's pretty whatever, normal for her. But she gets towards the end of her milking, she starts kicking at the cups, and she kicks at them and kicks at them. She doesn't really kick really hard, but she's really good at putting her foot at the top of the cup and working her way down. And so anyway, so then you can see the next cow that came into 101 failed, which is 1265, and she does just fine usually, and all those cows. So I feel very confident in saying that it was 1348. So I don't know. the heck of it is, she's pregnant, but she's doing this at least once a month, and that is super annoying. And today, hey, it worked out. I just happened to get here. Really good timing for that to happen just now. But usually, she does that in the middle of the night. I'm not going to be very happy. And she's really making it hard for me to not go ahead and sell her and tell her, like, sorry, girl, you're going to have a different occupation now. You can go be a beef cow. So, it sounds callous, I guess, to be like that, but I mean, it's like she's almost trying to tell me, I don't want to be a milk cow. Okay, then you don't have to be a milk cow. We can find a different job for you. It's just driving me crazy. So, and you know, it called her successful, but it's because she was towards the end of being milked. So sometimes if it kicks it off and she was almost done, the robot will just call it successful. But anyway, she's driving me crazy. But now I have to go try to find all the cows that failed because of her if they didn't come through it on their own already. So now I got to come up here, fetch cows, and then this will show like any cows that are long hours on milk like these. But you can see those 3 cows. It says failed milking there. Those are the 3 that failed, and then they didn't want to go to the other robot. 2 of those cows, they only use 101, but that one cow, 1311, she's pretty good about using the second robot, so I don't know why she didn't do it. But sometimes if the robot's messed up and it's trying to milk the cows, it's like, what the heck is this thing doing? And they get, then they get pretty jittery in there, and then they won't want to come right back in because the last time they were in, the robot was messing up on them. So anyway, I'm gonna go grab those cows. Okay, she is the last of the failed cows, so. And this heifer, she's a week fresh. I'm just taking her up there. She's not on the fetch list yet, but kind of training her still. So kind of way I've been treating these heifers is the first 7 or 10 days, I try to get them at least twice a day. Unless I can tell that they are acting kind of curious after a few days, or if they visit on their own in between there, perfect. But so sometimes I play it by ear, but on average, probably the first week, 7 days, you do that. And if after 10 days they still are showing no interest, then I could just go into fetch mode and try to force them to come in on their own. But usually by a week or so, they start doing it on their own. But sometimes after 3 days. Okay, so I just got all them fetched, put in the fetch pen. I'm gonna come back here and stir some bedding. Juno is doing a feed push. There you go, you can see Juno in action, pushing that feed up just a little closer, the cows can reach it. I'm gonna go ahead and stir the bedding. Oh, the cows are in here, but I had an opportunity in the evening. There's not much cows in here right now, and they're kind of all hopped up after I went and had to fetch some of those failure cows. So I'm gonna go ahead and stir. She's a beaut. Oh yeah, it's definitely our nicest tractor, you know. Oh dear. Oh, these cows will watch out. I'll just drive really slow. So I got done fetching those cows, put in the fetch pen, and John is starting to cut beans there, and it's pretty slow going for him. So I just decided to hop in the drill here and come over here to me and my wife's farm. And about said my farm, it's our farm, you know. So anyway, so we're over here, drilling over here, putting in a cover crop. We harvested this corn last week. So anyway, Nathan came over here and did some, probably got about 10 acres left on it. So this is the same tractor we use for doing our spraying. So I have this guidance, got the auto steer, works nice. And we can use this tractor as a loader and then also use it for spraying and then drilling cover crops in the fall. So Anyway, works pretty nice. We got a John Deere 750 drill on here. It's a 15-foot wide drill, and it takes a little longer doing covers that away. Sorry, I had to turn around there and get headed back the other direction. So anyway, what I was saying there was there's more efficient ways to put cover crops on. You can broadcast it. That works really good if you catch a rain right behind it. All kinds of different ways to do it. Some people will broadcast and then vertical till it in, just scratching the surface. We like to use the drill because we found out that if you want it to guarantee that you get a good stand, or not guarantee, but the best success of having a good stand for the cover crop is putting it in the ground and using a drill that way. So anyway, we like to do it this way. It takes a little longer, 15-foot passes at a time, but the nice thing about it, you can kind of just slow, steady wins the race. Aunt Nathan can work on it when he can, or I can jump in and do it whenever I have an opportunity, like right now. So, and there's been other years where we were short on help, and then we got done with harvest third week of October, and we were able to still go out there and just punch out the cover crops after harvest. So we can still get enough growth in Missouri to make it worth your while doing that. So anyway, that's the way we like to do it. I think it works all right. It just takes a little time. So here's a view from me and my wife's farm. Backside of the dairy, where his parents live. See a cow housing. Well, now you can't. Giant ragweeds in the way on the fence line. But there you can see the big old red barn and the robot barn up there. Kind of, can't really tell, probably all that great, but it's really dusty over there to the left side there. That's where John's over there somewhere combining beans. Yeah, you can see the cloud of dust up there around the barnyard. It's just, there's no breeze out right now, and the dust is just hanging out up there. Now, John said they were cutting really tough, so. And this tractor drives me nuts. It beeps at you nonstop, and it says replace fuel filter. I replaced the fuel filters. Stop beeping at me. Good grief. See, there you can see John up on the field. Shutting the lids on these bins tonight. It's quite the view up here. So these are soybeans here. Grandpa's we're gonna harvest here pretty soon, and then we got to fill the soybeans over here. Good as well. And for reference, last week we were showing corn and showing some of that. Right there, right over there is where that cornfield was. So anyway, I better get the rest of these shut before it gets totally dark. So I just did some robot maintenance, replaced the liners on the milkers here on this first robot for the first time. I went in the office, and then I heard somebody come in, and I heard some kicking. And it's 1348, the cow that's not nice to the robot. As you can see, she is pretty restless. She moves around a lot, that's why the robot is struggling to attach her. Right at the last second she moves, and then it misses. She's expected to give 16 pounds this milking. We shall see. She usually does pretty good at first, and once it got it attached, she'll just stand there, but she's very restless whenever it's trying to attach, and then towards the end of her being milked, she gets restless. There she is. This is what she does. Came back in here. the robot so I can rinse it off for the next cow. So that is what she does, and that is why we have problems with her. Every other cow, I mean, even when it's trying to spray her, she's just kicking it. So every other cow, none of the cows do this. Maybe a little bit of them maybe pick their feet up a little bit, but she's definitely the outlier. All the other cows just stand there. On my way to the dairy, it's a little before 5. And I look out on the field here, this farm that's right up the road from the dairy that we farm. Nathan is out there drilling cover crops, looks like, already. So it's a nice thing about that auto steer. Otherwise, you didn't have that auto steer and you didn't have guidance. I mean, you would no way you could do that. You wouldn't be able to see, but works good. Started soybeans yesterday here at the dairy, and there's Sean right behind the manure pit back there. Guys, so it's a couple days later, and we are still working on the beans here at the dairy because we had some problems with the combine bean head. But anyway, I'm just walking up a fetch cow here tonight. Actually a cow that calved here yesterday morning or the day before. Now I can't keep stuff straight, so anyway, I'm gonna walk her in the fetch pen. Yesterday morning was the first time in, so this heifer is following me all the way up here. But excuse me, ladies. Come on. Anyway, it's been working pretty good here. It's kind of nice harvesting beans here at the dairy because it's really easy to do chores. I don't have to drive back to the dairy to do my evening chores and whatnot. But it's kind of how it goes of an evening. I get done with harvest for the day. Got to come back here and maybe fetch a few cows. Tonight I just had the one fresh cow. Everybody else, there was no one else on the list, so that worked out nice. But it doesn't always work that way. There's been a few nights where I've had 3 or 4, maybe 5 cows, as many as 5. But the cows are really, all those cows that we dried off early, they were really starting to get it. And the heifers that we calved in, a whole bunch of them, they're really starting to figure it out too. So it's working good. Here lately, we've been averaging about 2.8, 2.9 visits per day. So doing really good. You know, we got some cows who are visiting 4 or 5 times a day, the high producers. So it's working real nice that way. But and our production's actually a little bit better. We're probably, it's hard telling, but I'd say 7 or 8% so far at the moment. Was probably about 7 or 8% more production at the moment than what we would typically be doing, but that's hard telling. But anyway, it's going pretty well. But I'm going to come back here and I'm going to turn the fans down for the evening and then run the truck back out there and empty the grain cart onto the truck, and then I'm going to call it a night. So I think that'll be it for this week, guys. We'll see you next time.